Surprisingly, this poor priest husband had long known that his wife was cheating on him. She is also having an affair with their neighbor's boy. First, he was unable to control his anger, but he controlled his anger, and he started making a wonderful plan to take revenge on his wife. So, in order to do that, he pretends not to know anything when he is with her. One day, just as he had planned, he took revenge on her and her men in a surprising way. Our story begins with a police detective named Hollis who is found in a hospital. He has come here to get the results of an infertility test. At that moment, the doctor told him that he was infertile and could not have children. The detective was shocked when he heard this news. The doctor saw his panic and tried to calm him down. Then Detective Hollis went to the office. Surprisingly, he had 2 children, and he was very sad when he realized that these children were not his. While he was in the office, his coworker suddenly entered the office and told him that he had received information that someone was about to jump from a floor and hurt himself, and that they needed to get to the scene quickly. Upon arrival, Detective Hollis came inside. The man who was about to harm himself was named Gavin. Detective Hollis tried to talk and calm him down. Gavin says he has to stay on the ledge until noon and jump because if he doesn't, someone else will die. Officer Hollis can't change Gavin's mind, and there is just over an hour left. When Hollis asks him what happened, Gavin remembers and tells us a story from the past. A couple, Shauna and her husband Joe, moved into Gavin's building. He saw her as she was leaving. They both ride the same bus and smile at one another. Later, Gavin, who is a hotel manager, is surprised to see that Shauna applied for a job there too. After a short interview, Gavin hires Shauna to start working right away. Later at home, he talks to his gay friend Chris about the new workers. By chance, Shauna and Gavin live next to each other and now they have the same job, which Chris finds interesting. However, Gavin dismisses Chris's thoughts because Shauna is married. Soon after, Shauna and her husband, Joe, knock on Gavin's door to say hello. Joe asks Gavin and Chris to join him for dinner. They happily say yes. The night comes when Gavin and Chris visit Shauna's house, and they go to Joe and Shauna's apartment. When Joe asks Shauna to get some wine, Gavin follows her to the kitchen to help, and they talk for a little while. Joe wrongly believes that Gavin and Chris are a gay couple. At the table, he prays for them, saying they are something bad. Upset, Gavin quickly leaves their house. It seems that this new couple is very devoted and traditional. The next day at the hotel, Shauna says sorry to Gavin for what happened the night before. To make things better, Gavin asks her to have lunch with him. As they walk, Shauna says that Gavin is mistaken about her husband. She shares her tough childhood and explains how her husband, Joe, helped her overcome her drug addiction. Later, Gavin offers her a drink, suggesting he might have a drinking problem even though he seems calm and reserved. He is shocked to see Shauna open the bottle with her teeth. They talk about Gavin's friend Chris, and Shauna learns how Gavin helped Chris. When Chris lost his job because people found out he had HIV, Gavin was the one who gave him a place to stay. Now, let's go back to the present. Gavin was talking to Hollis about everything. At that moment, the officer got a call from his wife, Angela, but Hollis didn't answer. At that time, we remember what happened that morning. His kids ran out of the house happily to see him. Then, Hollis asked his wife angrily whose children they really were. He is very angry because he was tricked into thinking they were his kids all this time. After remembering the past, the story goes back to Gavin, who shares more about his time with Shauna. The next morning, Joe says sorry for thinking Gavin was gay, but warns him that if he doesn't change his ways, he will end up in hell. Gavin speeds up and says they should discuss gay people in hell and why not. But he wants to wait until another time because he's running late for work. Before they go their separate ways, Joe asks Gavin to hang out with him on Wednesday night. On the bus, Gavin tells Shauna that he was married but his wife left him. He begins to flirt with her, but she reminds him that she is married too. On Wednesday night, Joey talks to Gavin about his beliefs. Gavin, who doesn't believe in God, thinks it's silly to say that only people who believe will be saved. He criticizes this idea because a child was hit by a bus and never knew about their religion. According to that belief, the child would go straight to hell. Joe believes that sharing the message of the gospel is really important. Things get heated quickly and people start shouting. Shauna steps in and asks Gavin to please go. Afterward, she tries to reassure her husband, but he tells her to leave him alone. The next day, Shauna confides in Gavin about her past as a drug addict and prostitute, explaining that she eventually ended up working for a pimp. Her pimp once sent her to a man at a church, where she was brutally beaten. After the assault, she could barely walk. Joe discovered her the following morning and took her to the hospital. Because of this, Shauna believes she owes Joe her life. She asks Gavin to keep his distance, and he reluctantly agrees. 3 weeks later, Shauna notices Gavin comforting a staff member who was crying over her father's death. She is taken aback to see Gavin showing that kind of compassion. Later that night, while Gavin is smoking outside, Shauna approaches him. He invites her to stargaze with him and kisses her, but she pulls away and walks off. Joe notices that she is doing things really late and starts to wonder why. The next day, Shauna visits Gavin at his office and kisses him, but then someone knocks on the door. Gavin tells Shauna that he will set aside an hour for her to meet. Shauna goes to the hotel room, and I will send him the details in an email. Later, while Shauna was taking a bath, her husband looked at his phone and read his emails. Luckily, Gavin used an old employee's email, so Joe doesn't know that Gavin is the one cheating with Shauna. Shauna tells Joe that she needs to cover a shift at the hotel that night, so he has to leave. She goes to the hotel room where Gavin is waiting for her. Without Shauna knowing, Joey followed her. Shauna and Gavin are together, and when Shauna is about to leave, Joey sees her kissing a man, but he can't see who it is. The next morning, Gavin tells Shauna to break up with her husband. Shauna feels scared and sorry for Joe, but she has stayed away from him because she can only think about Gavin, who also likes her. That night, Joe needs to go away for church work. As soon as he leaves, Shauna goes to Gavin's apartment, not knowing that Joe was hiding in the house to see what his wife was up to. Joe couldn't believe it when he found out his wife was with the neighbor. He didn't want to do anything for now. It seems that their relationship has turned into love. Shauna and Gavin started making love, but they didn't know that Joe found out. Feeling sad, hears everything from outside the door. After they are done, Gavin says that he has a daughter. She died in a car accident 2 years ago. He always felt guilty because he was driving when a truck almost hit them, and he turned the wheel the wrong way, causing the truck to hit the side of the car where his daughter was sitting. His wife could never forgive him for their daughter's death, which made them get divorced. In the present, Hollis admits that his wife was unfaithful to him, and he just found out that the kids he thought were his are not actually his because he can't have children. Hollis shares that he and his wife had a hard time getting pregnant and took many fertility tests. However, he didn't look at the results because his wife told him they were fine. A few months later, they had a son, but Hollis didn't know that his wife had actually had the baby with his brother as part of an agreement. Hollis starts to cry as he talks to Gavin and asks him to come inside the building. Gavin tells him he wants to help, but he can't. Then, another officer arrives with news about Joe and Shauna, interrupting their talk. Both of them are gone. Gavin keeps telling his story. He and Shauna plan to tell Joe about their secret relationship, but Shauna wants to talk to her pastor first. One day, Joe sees Gavin and Shauna giving each other a kiss. He reserves a hotel room at Shauna's workplace. When Shauna gets to the room, she's surprised to see her husband there. The next day, Joe invites Gavin to his apartment and shares his history with him. Joe was married before and has 2 kids. He had a hard time with drugs and bad choices. He lost his job after his wife and kids left him. After reaching a very low point in his life, he went into a church, discovered his faith, and changed for the better. Joe felt grateful and believed that God had sent Shauna to help him. He thought he loved her until one night when he heard her and Gavin being intimate at his house. Holding a gun, Joe understood that he didn't want to die. Then, he aims the same gun at Gavin and tells him to read a Bible verse that says adulterers should die. Gavin tells a story from the New Testament about Jesus saving a woman who made mistakes. Jesus said that only people who haven't done anything wrong should throw stones at her. After Joe lets Gavin goes, Gavin tries to call Shauna, but Joe picks up the phone instead. He admits that he supports the harsh punishment described in the Old Testament, but he says that only one of them needs to die. Both don't have to. He tells Gavin that he has Shauna and is holding a gun to her head. He will shoot her at noon unless Gavin jumps off a building. Detective Hollis tells Gavin that if he had been honest earlier, they could have found Joe, but he still tries to talk Gavin out of jumping. The police were already looking in the hotel across the street for the kidnapper. Hollis sees Joe in the building across from him. Joe and Shauna are watching everything happen from across the street, while Gavin is on the roof of the other building. With just a few minutes until noon, Hollis pleads with him not to jump. Gavin asks the detective to tell Shauna that he loves her. He looks at a photo of his daughter one last time and thinks he doesn't want the same bad things to happen to Shauna. Gavin kisses the photograph as the noon bell rings, then leaps. The crowd below is stunned as they witness him plummeting onto the street. Shortly after, police locate Joe and Shauna in a hotel room and take him into custody. Later at the station, Hollis tells Shauna that Gavin truly loved her. She thanks him and leaves, passing by her husband, who is praying in his cell as she walks out. At the end of the day, Detective Hollis sits in his car in tears, watching his family through the window of their home. He recalls Gavin's advice to return to them and embrace them, because it wasn't about infidelity but about preserving their family by having children. When he finally goes inside, his children welcome him, and they share dinner together. Hollis seems ready to forgive his wife and reassures the children that he is their father. The movie ends here. Please, my family, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.